Lamine Yamal. Nice curl!
Lamine Yamal.
Lamine Yamal.
Lamine Yamal.
The winner this year is
Lamine Yamal.
I think he's a superstar.
First time in my life I saw someone, wow, who is it?
Right now, Lamine Yamal just might be the scariest talent in football. Goals in big games, taking on defenders twice his age and humiliating them, and game after game proving that the future of football is as scary as it gets. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, because behind the flair and the Travellas is a boy fighting for himself and his family. This is the insane story of the next big thing in football. Lamine Yamal was born in a small town in Catalonia, and right from the start it was clear he had a great future in the sport. Getting bathed by Messi should have been just a random ad, but it was part of something, a bigger picture. But even with the signs from destiny early on, he still has to build his path. His parents had separated when Lamine was just 3 years old, and with his dad being a painter and his mum a waitress, the future didn't exactly seem bright for him. But somehow, football was just around the corner and became a big deal in the household. See, Yamal's dad had tried to go pro, but it never really worked out for him, and in the end he turned to odd jobs and painting to survive and find a way for his family and his kid. But it was clear from an early age that his son was different. The area where he lived, Mataro, had a deep interest in football, and it wasn't uncommon to see many young kids Yamal's age taking an interest in the sport. By the age of 4, Yamal was already on the path to professional football. He joined La Torreta Football Club, and in just 3 years, he'd made such a big impact that he already had scouts across the country on alert and had put his area postcode on the map. By the time Yamal turned 7, scouts and people watching struggled to believe what they were seeing. He was already twice as good for his age. They'd seen enough, and if La Torreta was the start to greatness, the Barca Academy gave him a big step towards it. Signing for Barcelona was the dream, but it was also clear that at his new club, he'd have to work hard to earn a place in the team. See guys, a big part of Lamine Yamal's backstory is his roots, and he never forgets that. The 3 little flags on the back of his boots, they tell a whole story. Yamal's dad is of Moroccan descent. His mum is from Equatorial Guinea, but Lamine himself was born and raised in Spain. That's why you see all 3 flags on his boots. But there's more to it than just that. Because back in the early days at La Masia, Yamal wasn't just playing for himself. He was carrying the dreams of 2 people. It wasn't just Yamal who wanted to become a footballer. It was like his dad was playing football through him, taking him to every training session, supporting him at every turn, watching him grow. It was like watching his own dream live on through his son, and slowly, that dream started becoming real. At Barcelona, he was already turning heads. From the pre-Benjamin stage to Alevine R, and then to the Infantil B team, the feedback was always the same. This kid was special. He was versatile too. In his early days at La Masia, he played as a striker. He even filled in at left back sometimes. But the wings, that's where he truly belonged. Eventually, he locked down that right wing position and made it his own. Meanwhile, in the first team, Xavi had brought back the old system, trusting youth, giving La Masia talents their chance. And even though Yamal was just 15 at the time, Xavi was so blown away by his talent that he gave him the call-up. He was ready. Yamal made the bench the week before against Atletico Madrid, and when he finally made his debut for Barcelona versus Real Betis at the tail end of the 2022 La Liga season, it was clear this kid was special. And very young too. He was still only 15, and at the time had just become the youngest player to debut for Barcelona. See, it wasn't weird to see Xavi or the club give the opportunity to young talent. What was weird in Yamal's case was how young he was. But it seemed Xavi, just like everyone at the club, had seen something in Yamal that the world would only realise later. Despite all the hype around him, Xavi had seen how focused and humble he was. He remained the same kid they'd taken from the academy to the first team even after he made the jump and blew. And so Xavi was willing to reward this humbleness with a place in the first team, and even better, push his new talent up the ranks if he had to, and it paid off. Into the 2023-24 season, and Yamal was shattering records game after game. In the first game of the season versus Cadiz, he'd become the youngest player at 16 years and 38 days to start a La Liga game in the 21st game. As the months passed, he broke the records not just in the league but in Europe too. He'd become the youngest starter in a Champions League game, the youngest goalscorer in Spanish top flight, and then the big one, the youngest player to play for the Spanish national team versus Georgia. And in the same game, he bagged that goal to become the youngest goalscorer for the Spanish national team. On Yamal's part, it was more than just him playing for Barcelona. He'd become so good that it had also become a question of what the club was willing to sacrifice just to see him play. Dembele had left the club in the summer of 2023, and Barcelona didn't even bother to get a replacement down the right wing. Why? Lamine Yamal. They'd seen him as the future, and it had gotten to a point where it went from Barcelona housing Yamal at La Masia to the club toying with Spanish labour rules, allowing a 15-year-old appear in a public spectacle, which in this context happened to be his debut for the club. To be fair to the club, just watching Lamine Yamal play it was easy to see why his debut came so early. The game is full of systematic wingers right now, but Yamal, he's a cut above the rest. At just 17, you can see it from the way he controls his game. He isn't defined by one or two touches, he's a unique one-of-one genius. The way he dribbles, the body feints, his low centre of gravity, it's like the ball is always stuck to his feet, and he moves and gets into dangerous positions when he wants to. You watch him play, and there's an emerging pattern. He's already got his game, which has almost become his trademark. He plays as an inverted winger coming off that right flank, and once he cuts in into that left foot, he's producing madness. The goal against Benfica, for example, he cuts in and whips that into the far post like he wasn't even trying, like football is that easy to him. The dangerous part about Yamal is when you think you've got him figured out, he can just flip the switch and rock up another move. He doesn't even have to always cut in sometimes, because with the outside of his foot, his travailers are next level. It's about all of this is how he's doing it, or rather, the people he's doing all of this to. Lamine Yamal is 17, and yet he's performing moves like this, dribbles like this against fullbacks who are almost twice his age. It's like he turns them into cones on the pitch. Actually, that's what he does. This sends tight spaces, and how he avoids the defenders like he's performing a drill mid-game. I mean, he's just done that against Bayern Munich. His confidence level is sky high, and he's now become so scary that you end up seeing defenders either backing off him mid-game or calling for backup just to face him. But it would be unfair to talk about Yamal without talking about how much he's developed this season, and a lot of that is down to this man and his tactics. Hansi Flick. His arrival opened an even scarier path for Yamal because what he's doing with his wide players, the German mastermind has custom roles for each, where Rafinha plays as a winger or forward on the left. Down the right, Lamine Yamal is the inverted winger who has the freedom to isolate himself in one-on-one situations against fullbacks, which is why during most games, you'll see him hugging the touchline. You almost know he's going to cut in, but it goes beyond that too. This Barcelona team under Flick scores goals, and that's another aspect of Yamal's game that's gone up a notch because as of recording this, he's got 14 goals and 21 assists in 43 games. Insane stuff. The system also relies on players understanding each other and the team chemistry. The front three, for example, the best trio in the game right now, and every time you watch them play it's like they're in sync. It's the same with players like De Jong and Pedri from midfield, even when they plays, just to see if they can have the added advantage of closing him out of games, but most times this plays to him and Barcelona's advantage. By doing this, it immediately collapses team structures and is a dangerous system too. That he stays out wide doesn't mean he's there for the entire 90 minutes. You'll see him in game coming deep or even moving into central positions at times just to get closer to the ball and paying extra attention to Yamal when you've got two players who are equally as deadly in Lewandowski and Rafinha in that front three. It's like a suicide mission. It's no doubt now that Lamine Yamal is the future, the current Golden Boy winner, but with the way he's been playing there is so much more in the future. Only time will tell. But if he keeps up this current level of performance, there's no doubting the heights this kid could reach in his career.